Welcome to Grit Happens. I'm Mindy Stearns. To know him is to love him. Glenn is a CEO, an entrepreneur, an outlier, an overcomer, a storyteller, visionary, victor, mentor, father, brother, underdog. I'm talking about my husband. That's right. This is Grit Happens, and this is Glenn Stearns.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
I know how much you love
32 episodes, and I finally have her trained, folks. That's right.
That's funny. You haven't asked me to bark like a dog in a while. That's
No,
okay.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
So I'm excited. I mean, we've got some incredible. Yeah, we're like 20. How many episodes?
I don't know. I made that number up.
We're like a year into this now, and
Yeah.
we're getting some really incredible guests, and we just raised our game in an exponential way. I'm very excited today for our guest in studio because, you know, we talk about all things grit. We talk about relationships. We talk about business, entrepreneurship, starting a business, and people that have risen from something and made an amazing life for themselves, whether it's in business, in personal success, in philanthropy. And we've got someone today that is all of the above. So do you want to introduce your friend? Do you want to get right to it?
Well, absolutely. And I'll tell you, it's funny because when you live in a place like Orange County, this is a big pond, okay, a suburb of Los Angeles. There's not very many people that outshine this man, okay, because he is everywhere, And so I think I met Wing during the Entrepreneur of the Year, if I recall.
Yep.
When was that? Like 1990 something.
2000.
Was it 2000?
2001, I think it was.
Okay, yeah.
Almost 20 years ago.
Maybe it
20
was.
years ago, yeah.
It was. So it's been a long time. And what I remembered about Wing was, everybody, we all that were there, you're nervous, we're in suits, and there's Wing in his flip-flops. And, just comes walking in, hey, it's okay. It's not a big deal, But what I have loved, Wing, is just not only is this guy great with, obviously running an amazing restaurant chain in Wahoo's, fish tacos, but just the philanthropic side and the networking and everything. And this is what we want to talk about, is a lot of stuff that have to do with not only your success, but just how do other people get there, And there's so much to dive into. But anyway,
let's
Wing
just,
Lam.
first of all, yes, let's just, the man almost needs, you're almost like Madonna. It's like Wing.
Wing.
Like, how many other people do you know that are Wing? Wing Lam, ladies and gentlemen, of Wahoo's Fish Tacos. If you haven't tried them, you are missing out. You are under a rock. You need to climb out and go get a taco. They're the most amazing, yummy, delicious things. But not only just what you create and what you've created, you are an enigma. You are something to be behold, I will have to say. Explain a little bit let's talk about your life and how you got where you are, because this is, the story is the great overcomer story, as a child, and just kind of take us back.
Well, it goes back to, first of all, it's funny because if you were in China, there'd be a lot of wings.
Like you said, it's
in
like
Orange County, as
name.
far as I know, I'm the only wing around, right? Not a very common name in Orange County. But again, going back to the mid-'70s, thank God my parents immigrated to Southern California, not another part of the United States. The weather's amazing. And they ended up landing in Newport Beach, where they opened one of their Chinese restaurants, the Shanghai Pine Garden.
Still on Balboa Island, right?
Balboa Island. It's all, 50 some years later, it's still open. And my parents still live on the island. And the thing is, for us growing up was a little bit hard because you got a Chinese born in Brazil. And of course, the first thing they did at school here, they try to put you with other people of the same color, right, not knowing that Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, we're all different.
Exactly.
We all speak a whole different language.
Throw them in one little group and see if
because we all look alike, so we should all hang out.
Yeah. Oh dear.
This is again mid-'70s, so again nothing.
Different kind of thinking. We've evolved.
We've evolved, right? So we kind of, I had to assimilate really quickly, and it took me a couple of days to figure it out that none of the Asian kids I could really talk to, but I heard a sound that sounded just like Portuguese, which is Spanish. Right. So immediately I said, hey, I don't want to eat lunch by myself every day. So I became friends really quickly with the 7, I call them Mexican kids that were in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that was it, right? So I kind of hung out, and they're all looking at me and goes, how come you can speak Spanish? I'm like, well, I really can't. I speak Portuguese, but I got to kind of learn really quickly.
Wow.
So within a month of being here, I was basically fluent in Spanish, which is really weird.
That's where the tacos came from.
Yeah, well, that came later, right? But again, you talk about, hanging out with them, and they were eating this thing called guacamole.
Oh.
Right? But in Brazil, avocados are fruits. So we drank it in a smoothie with sugar.
Oh, you're kidding
So
me.
I'm like,
Avocado
this is the,
smoothie.
oh yeah, if you go to Asian countries like Thailand, you can get, or Vietnam, it's an avocado smoothie.
I am
It's delicious.
so down with that.
But
That's-
I know. But again, these are cultural things. So I had to learn a lot of things. So initially, guacamole was this is crazy. I'd rather have it with sugar. But again, we went through the whole process, worked at my dad's restaurant for a number of years. And sometime after college, my kid brother and I, Ed, who you met.
I know Ed.
So
yes.
we were like, hey, he's getting ready to get him out of college. I'm already kind of working. Hey, corporate America is not really ready for us, because there aren't that many Asian kids in corporate America.
You did a little stint in corporate America.
Yeah, I did a little bit. I worked on the space shuttle program of all things.
Oh, my
Yeah, I mean,
goodness.
as far the other way as I could be. And then we talked about what we liked, and we joked about, hey, everybody has a rite of passage when you learn to surf in California.
Yeah.
You go to Mexico. That's your first road trip. And what do you do after surfing?
Tacos.
Fish tacos. So my brother goes, how come nobody's doing it in Orange County?
Where's the surfing capital here?
Yeah,
And you,
and maybe we should do this.
you
And
found
literally,
a
yeah,
niche.
I joke about the rest is history. My kid brother Mingo was still in college, so he was like doing the paperwork behind after hours, I call it. But Ed and I started grinding it out and say, hey, we'll just have a place to hang out. And through the partnerships, you talk about networking, it wasn't like we knew that that's what we wanted to do. We just didn't have any customers coming in. So it's a great idea to open a restaurant.
Right, but you got to have
you gotta have
customers.
people come
You
through the
got to
doors.
have mouths to feed.
Yeah, so we figured out they're all at the beach. So we asked our friends that basically my brother's old boss at Billabong, Mike Lesher, goes, hey, if you guys are not doing anything, can we do something with you guys? And they're like, yeah, we got trade shows. So we kind of went out and started doing event marketing. We didn't know what that was. I just needed to go find customers to bring into my restaurant.
So I always talk about finding your customer first, right? And when you walk into your restaurants, especially the one in Costa Mesa, the very first one you started in 1988, right? And my office was right half a block away from that restaurant. So I used to come there every day. But you have stickers all over the walls, and they're either surfing or skateboarding, but that became your lane, right? So you found that customer who was the people going down to Mexico who were eating those fish tacos, and you just brought it right to them.
We made it convenient. And that was really, so I thought, if you go down the hill to Newport from Costa Mesa and you go surfing, maybe afterwards, maybe you grab a bite. If the place kind of reminded you of Mexico and, had all the stickers, it made you feel at home. So it was very inviting for what I call the action sports industry.
That's right.
Where'd the Wahoo come from?
Well, my kid brother Mingo had just gotten, I think he went to a wedding or something in Hawaii, and we were talking about finding a name for the restaurant. And basically we're like, oh, we'll call it mahi-mahis, we'll call it dorados, we'll call it snappers. We came up with every fish name that we can think of. Tuna, right? And nothing sounded catchy.
Right.
And then my brother goes, well, what about calling it Onos, right? Because it's not only it's Wahoo in Hawaii, but it also stands for something really good.
Yeah.
When you say Onolicious, it's something really good.
Right.
So then we thought, okay, great name. But then we thought, what if somebody puts the wrong, accent, right? Oh, no. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to go with no, right? So then, and Mingo said, hey, in Hawaii, they call it Wahoo.
I love
And I'm
that.
like, dude, Wahoo's fish tacos.
Then there it stuck.
And it's stuck.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I think it's, for all the entrepreneurs out there and all the people that want to learn about how to run and operate a business, there's and I've done this many times. You just alluded to this. You open the doors. Here I am, and then you go, "Where's
Where are you?"
everybody?" Right? And so again, I go back to what I said in the beginning. You have been such an important kind of part of the fabric of Orange County for many, many, many years because you've ingrained yourself into the culture of Orange County, and so, and not just with the surfers and the skaters, right? But all the way up the chain. I mean, you're a good friend with George Argyros as I am. There's a lot of people we run in the same circles to that people wouldn't think some Chinese guy with a long beard is hanging out with, right? I mean,
With the suits.
with all the suits, exactly. But it takes that, and what people don't understand is they think I've got a great product to open my door, and then they're supposed to come, and it's not that easy.
No, I say half of the chefs in Orange County or all over the country, and you hear the number, like 90% of restaurants fail. And I can guarantee you, none of them fail because they have bad food. they fail because they don't know how to get people in
Yeah.
to taste the food.
You're a master at networking. You really that's become you. Is you are known for the networking you do, and you do so much. And I love that the story is when you started in high school and you were making food for the baseball team, or was it, and the water polo team. You were feeding people. I mean, you fed people your whole life.
Oh, yes.
You know what they like.
Yeah, we always figured, like, if people like food, and again, just give them what they want, right? Don't try to go too far off the reservation. Just, you can tweak it a little bit. But when people, get done with whatever activity they're doing, it's that comfort level. That, here comes Wing with the warm tortillas and the rice and the beans.
I saw a
right?
quote once that says, "May your partner make you as excited as you feel when you see your food arrived."
Exactly.
When your food arrived.
Because there's the aha moment, because food is very comforting. So when you can tie in your favorite activity, whatever that is, baseball, football, surfing, with food, whatever that food is ingrained. It's part of that ritual.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about. No matter where we go, we order the same thing.
Yeah.
And when people say, you should try this, you go, nah. Because
favorites. You got
we're
your
creatures of habit.
Yeah.
We have our favorites.
So again, I speak to our people, and our people, again, when I think about again how we met at an entrepreneur award ceremony, but then I would go places like over
Pacific
to
Club or
to our buddy's Tim Salmon's house, run into Wing.
Yeah.
I go to the baseball stadium, and we're going to be in this private little suite with the
Dave Winfield,
president
was
of
that-
somebody. I can't remember who the president was of
And
the
there's
Orange
Wing.
County
Bank.
Register, and there's Wing. And so everywhere we went, we would always run into each other until we started running into each other, right? And
And then we went to Necker together.
we
That
went to
was kind of
Necker,
that started our relationship.
That was really fun. Yes.
went there with Richard Branson. And so there's been so many times when I think, again, I go back to other people.
Yeah.
Why are they successful, and why is it so hard for me? Why do I have a dark cloud over my head? Why am I so unlucky?
Yeah.
Right? I'll turn it around. Why are you so lucky? Why is it happening? It's because you get out there. You cannot be successful sitting back waiting for it to happen to you.
You can't sit back and wait for the customers to come.
You have to make it happen.
You
And
gotta
you're a
drag
great
'em in.
Example. Drag them in whether they want to come or not.
Yep.
Right. And that's exactly the case. And so I think about, I happen to own a restaurant. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yeah. Tiny little restaurant.
These two have a little background in case you've been following Undercover Billionaire, Comeback City. I mean, your episode is already.
It's coming up.
Oh no, it hasn't.
hasn't come.
Oh,
That's the last
okay, then
one.
I
The
won't-
last one. The best for last.
Okay, that's right. I mean, I've been there for the whole thing, so I'm like, okay, I know. I mean, how much do you want to talk about?
No.
that?
Well, what I do want to say is that, oh, that's right. It hasn't aired. Okay. So what I do want to say is that I happen to have a restaurant that is in a time like today, in a time like the last year.
Yeah.
The world has been hit hard, but there's not an industry hit harder than the restaurant industry.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few, but that's one of the ones that are just been slammed, right? And so, I'm sitting back in Erie, Pennsylvania, trying to help our own restaurant out, and I need help. So who do I call?
Your master networker.
I call Ed Wing.
You need your wingman, as you have been for so many. The
Yes.
wingman.
Yes.
And we won't give it away about all the good, fun stuff you got
Tune
to
into
uncover.
Discovery Plus or Discovery to check
That's
out the
right.
episode.
But what was apparent, and not just from you guys coming back there and helping out immensely. I mean, I really, really appreciate that, and so do all the people back in Erie. But was that you were able to do things different. You were able to pivot, and this is what, again, folks out there, when you get hit against the head so many times, maybe you ought to try doing it a little differently. And so, watching what you did was amazing, because the world comes to a screeching halt. The butts and seats are gone. Now what are we going to do? Am I going to just take government PPP money and sit and wait? Or what are you going to do? So I found it amazing to watch you and your ability, how quickly you and your group and your brothers pivoted and changed. And so I thought it was important to kind of go over that mentality. Tell me what happened in your head and what you were thinking when you realized we're going to be shut down.
Well, first is that immediate shock, right? You're like, wait a second. We just lost in less than 2 days 85% of our business. Literally, from Wednesday till Friday, 2 days. From when they shut down, by Friday, 85% of the business was gone. So immediately you're looking at the numbers, goes, okay, first thing, let's like try to cut back on the overhead employees. That's what we get rid of. The next part was, let's stop ordering stuff. And then as the employees were basically getting furloughed, we said, why don't you take some of this stuff with you? Because we don't know when you're going to be able to come back. But even after over 300+ employees left, we still had inventory that we were getting ready to for the weekend. So I said, hey, why don't we go make some deliveries? So that's kind of like the first round. So after I made a couple of deliveries, just to say, hey, this stuff is going to go bad anyway. It's going to spoil it, right? Eric from Blue Sea calls me and goes, what are you guys doing? And I go, and then Wendy shortly thereafter, like, hey, what are we doing? And I said, well, here's what I'm doing. And they said, you're crazy. How can you afford to give food away? I goes, well, it was going to go anyway.
We already bought it.
I already bought it. It's going to go.
There, yeah.
But as I'm getting ready to buy more, because the hospitals were really appreciative, my kid brother Min goes, dude, are you out of your mind? Do you realize that we're 85% down and you're going to go spend more money to give it away? Hold on. We're getting ready to shut 4 more stores down. I'm like, whoa. Because we lost 2 in LA. 6 more are temporarily closed because the venues, the airports, the colleges are still down. So I said, well, you got to figure out how you can cover your cost.
Right.
So calling my friends in the event world, I'm like, you got stuff. Why don't we team up together and maybe we can find something? And luckily, Judy from cystic fibrosis, I called her and I said, hey, Judy, what are you doing? And she goes, what do you mean? Because all the events got canceled. And we came up with Pipeline to a Cure, which we've raised millions of dollars. It's the #1 charity event for CF in the United States. Wow. And she goes, Wing, I don't have a whole bunch of money, but I got $1,000. I'm like, that'll work. So I go to my brother, goes, hey, I got a couple more deliveries. So we just pieced it together.
Wow.
We took some pictures because I got smart because we got to tell people what we're doing. Yeah. And through the crazy network, we started getting our other friends like, I got all this money that I had set aside for that charity golf tournament, for that gala. We're not doing anything with it.
That is such a genius pivot right there, though. That's
And
just
totally,
thinking outside the box.
It was survival.
And you thought to ask. A lot of people think, well, I don't want to bother anyone.
No.
But you say, if you don't ask, you don't get. And when you ask a question, you get an answer.
But you know what I love also, because again, a lot of times people think, well, that guy's smarter than me. I mean, he was just bright. So in my life, it's never happened where I'm the smartest guy in the room. It's a lot is luck, right? Where you, not luck, but luck, where you go, I'm going to give it away anyway. And then you go, well, God, maybe there's a match here. Maybe there are people that are doing well and people that need it, like first responders and other people. And when you put that together and you created California Love Drop, right? Yeah. You were able to then match people that were in need and people that wanted to give. That's exactly what you just said, and create something that sustained and helped your business grow, which was something, again, in the middle of a crisis and everybody else is tucked in. You're out there, and I saw the lines of the people and the food and the celebration, and you know, it's fantastic. It's different. It's exactly what you need to do if you're going to succeed. You can't ever sit back and let a crisis or a personal issue or anything be your excuse for failure. You have to be able to figure it out, or, you know, grab your team, you know, around you, right? And sit there. I mean, Wendy, Eric, who are both in our studio on these.
Yes,
right now.
we have your support team here.
Are very, you know, good, because you can't do it alone, right? Yep. You know, I mean, you're the face. Yep. I happen to be the face of a lot of it too, and people usually think we're both pretty bright people. Yet we both know we could sit in the room.
You surround yourselves and marry very smart people.
Very, that's it. And way better looking too.
Talk about California Love Drop and like, how do people find it? What exactly you're doing right now?
So we have gone from just delivering food and essential. We partner with Yogurtland, Handwater, Monster Energy Drink. We got all these amazing brands that we have resources. So what just started as, I call it, bringing food. Mm-hmm. It got into school supplies because we found the Sister of Watts, they needed stuff. And we said, what do you need? Backpacks and whatnot. So we delivered hundreds of backpacks to the kids going back to school, the few that did go back.
Right.
And then as we got closer to the holidays, you'd be amazed that the number of kids that needed toys. And we're like, oh my God, yes, kids still need to celebrate.
Yes.
So we went out and started doing all the toy drives. So we ended up partnering with my buddy Sean Lee from the Purist Group. Again, it's finding the network because whatever you don't have, he has, and vice versa. So by teaming up with different people, we were able to do more. So it's been this, I call
That's
it,
incredible.
whatever the need is, we'll find a way to get it.
Yep. Yep. No, I love
And so
it.
people can find out more about it, CaliforniaLoveDrop.com or
.org.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't go to Love Drop, the other one, because that is like
You went there.
I
didn't
went
you?
looking. I'm like, oh, it's a prescription service for sex toys for couples.
You had that on your speed dial, dear. That was already there.
one of
Long
my favorites.
before Wing.
It came right up. Oh no, I love what you guys are doing. You've always been kind of a poster child too for philanthropy. It's always been really near and dear to your heart. I mean, that's how we met you on Necker. You came there to help with the Horatio Alger and the other and the things that we were supporting. I love the story how you met Richard Branson, and then the next thing you know, you were flying a hot air balloon over Lithuania.
Oh my God.
And then you were at the bar with poison, like
Scorpion.
Scorpions. Oh yes, that is such a funny story. That talk about networking.
Oh, it was really funny because it all started because it's funny because when we landed on the island, we didn't know what we're getting into. And I guess you guys had been there and you guys had just come back from Jackson Hole. And I think you had just injured your leg.
Oh, that was the trip I
yes.
was.
Remember that?
I just saw that video yesterday.
Yes. And what happened was because you were hurt and you got first dibs, you said, well, if we can have the Bally High house. Oh, Wing is coming. Well, let them have it. So all the other guests were like, how come those two got the best house on the island? He goes, because you couldn't climb up the stairs.
No.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We got Richard's house, remember?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to walk far.
And then the rest is literally history because one of the gentlemen that was there from Lithuania, and I'm blanking on his name right now, but we got to hang out with him before and after the trip because we're staying over at the other island. I forget the other island.
Oh, but yeah, the Bitter Island.
The Bitter Island, whatever.
Bitter End Yacht.
So we ended up going out to dinner the last night before we flew out the next day. And then he ended up coming out to California like a month later for a TED conference.
Yeah.
So he called me out of the blue and said, hey, I'm in town. I'm like, let's go grab lunch. So I took him to lunch. And again, two of the guys that were hosting him were one of my oldest customers. And they're like, oh my God, you got to do this. So he had asked me, goes, would you be interested in coming out to Lithuania to another like TED conference? It was called
I want you to volley it back.
it was called, I think, One Forum or something. So I'm like, sure. And my wife is like, do you even know where Lithuania is? And I'm like, no. But it sounds
Don't
like
ask me to spell it.
Don't ask me how to spell it. So we signed up for it. And then on the way there, we found out that, who the other speakers were. And one of them was Richard. So, of course, when Richard found out that we were on the same place, he goes, hey, the handlers called my wife, Kelly, and goes, hey, by the way, Richard would like you guys to be at the forum the next morning, like at 7:30 in the morning. He goes, why? Because we're going to go on a balloon ride. And we looked at each other and goes, sounds like everybody's going.
Right.
Why not?
You don't want to be on a balloon ride with Richard. If you
don't know,
remember,
that's like
he
your
got dumped in the sea and almost killed himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So find out everybody was on one balloon, and Richard, myself, my wife Kelly, and there's only like I think 4 or 5 of us in his balloon.
You end up in the craziest
And
places.
because there was nothing going on in the whole country, we ended up on all the news feeds, right? Here we are, I'm sure everyone goes, oh, there's Richard. Who's the Asian guy flying with Richard, right? And we spent the whole day just goofing around. We ended up on the lake. We went to all these different things. And the whole time we're hanging out because Richard didn't have to speak until the closing of the conference. So we spent a good half of a day just cruising around Lithuania, taking from A to B to C.
That's awesome.
And everybody kept
Wow.
wondering, who are these two, right? And Richard was nice enough to post on his own Facebook and Instagram photos of us.
That's
and
great.
I had friends that happened to be pilots for Virgin. They're like, dude, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Where
Hanging
are
out
you?
with the
Look
boss.
who you're hanging out with. Yeah.
But that's what it's about. Again, it's about hanging out with the right people.
Aligning yourself
And
with people that
again,
are...
I say you're either with the basement people or the balcony people, right? And we all know when we're with the people bringing us down.
Oh, yeah.
And and again, we wonder, is it a dark cloud over our head, or or do we deserve to be here? Or we hang out with those balcony people that lift us up, And so it's really easy to know where you're headed. It's just, do you really want to go there, And you've made an intentional play to hang out and be with people that help elevate you and help elevate your brand, really. Again, Wahoo's is an amazing brand out here. And so, again, this is more, we try to bring people in to say, be more like this guy, right? And that's what it's about, because people find it difficult, and yet it's so simple, to just keep trying to up your game and be very authentic. You're the most authentic person. Have integrity. Keep your word with what you say. You show up. You're always there. And surround yourself with great people. And then you're going to succeed. It's very simple.
You also have a very positive outlook too. I think that is something that you look for the silver lining in every situation. And a lot of people see the cloud and they don't see the silver lining. And has there ever been a time when you've come? I mean, because you're very happy-go-lucky. You always pivot. You find the best. Is there ever been a time when you were like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to get out of this one?
There's been a few, but like I said, we've had back in, I think in the early 90s, there was the floods in Laguna Beach right after the fires.
Oh, yeah.
So the water came down the canyon. Our employees couldn't get to the store. And when you have, I think, 3 stores and you're closed for 4 days, that cash flow is make or break payroll, right?
Yeah.
There's been a few instances like that where like, oh my God, when gas prices hit about $5, 2008. So there's been all these times where you can make a decision, right? Do I retreat or do I figure out how to get through it, right? So luckily, my brothers and I, we always said, hey, we got to take care of our employees. So when you start thinking about the people that rely on that paycheck, the people that rely on their jobs with you, to survive, then you forget about, oh, poor me.
Right.
There's 500 of us here, right? So when you start thinking about the whole company, then things become a little bit more clear that you just can't stop. Because if you stop, what happens to everybody behind you, right? So they're the ones that got you here. You got to figure it out as the owner, the founder, as the president, how to get everybody to this new level. So all the people that are with us now, the few, I mean, there's only, like I said, we're about almost half of the number of employees. We were down to about 20%. So again, we've been able to bring more people back. They're all working harder, and I make a point to show them that I appreciate what they're doing. And that's the whole thing. It's like, we got to show appreciation. You got to show gratitude, because it's not about us. It's about all of us.
I think you also lead with something that Glenn always talks about, is servant leadership. You are someone who shows up and you're willing to do everything that anyone else has to do. Yeah. Like, you are not afraid to get down and do what it takes. Yeah. It's like no job is beneath you, really. And
you also, we talk about how you can't do it alone. Your brother, Ed, is great at the inside. He understands how to make the restaurant tick. Yep. And that's the same thing. I have a president that really understands operations. I don't claim to, and I don't want to, right? Yep. And then you're a great, leader from the outside, bringing the attention and the people, and and getting the restaurant to hum. And they're different areas of expertise, and your lane, which is important.
And the whole thing in life is, don't be afraid to, like you said, marry somebody better than you. The partnership, because at the end of the day, we all rise together. But so many companies go out there and they're afraid to hire that smart kid. I'm like, dude, if he can do something better than you, that makes it easier on you. They look at it as a threat. Oh, that guy wants my job next.
I talk all the time about that.
Dude, are you out of your mind?
Glenn has always said, like, hire people smarter than you,
yes.
Embrace the competition, which is so important.
Yes.
And I think letting go of your ego. Yeah. And I think it's so important.
Yeah, the idea of keeping people down, I'm like, you're crazy. That means you got to work twice as hard.
Right. That's right.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So, and again, the skill sets that you don't have, get those people that have them. And now you truly can create a great, company, because everybody's like, oh, did you think of this? Did you think of that? And you're like, wow, because they have a different mindset.
Have you ever created a position with someone you felt was real? Because that's another thing he talks about. If you find good people, create a space for them. Have you ever found someone that had something that you didn't have and you're like, well, let's just create a position well, you did.
Created my wife.
I know. You had, well, I mean, the position at the company. I was just, that came
I
to
did.
me.
I created a new position. I called it the Chief Happiness Officer. And she went around telling me, I'm the chief ho, I'm the chief ho. And I said, no, you can't be the chief ho. I'm not
That was
allowing
before we had HR.
So we changed it to the Chief Kindness Officer.
I'm the CKO.
She's the
Knock you out with
CKO.
kindness.
Yeah, there's times, I mean, way back in the day, the old art director for a sunglass company called Black Flies, Eddie and I spent a lot of time working together on stuff, and we didn't have any in-house guy. So one day when he said, hey, the company's downsizing, and I'm like, maybe you should come and work for us.
You knew he was good talent.
And I'm telling you, he was the guru of social media when it was at the very first stages.
So smart.
And so he helped us get, it was amazing what Eddie and I did together. We went everywhere, and it was like this, like having a rock star next to you, and it was amazing.
Yeah. That's what you need. You need, in any business, you've got to find people that have something that you're lacking, and then you go at it and go out there and be different. Yes. You have to be different. Because, I mean, it's okay to get into a business and just have it go, but who wants to just be mediocre? No. I mean, anybody that rises up and people go, wow, they're so good. It's because they chose to be different, to stand out. And so, you guys are such a wonderful example of that. And not just in your food, but in how you do your philanthropy, how you, live your lives, where you network, how you do it. And when I say network, again, I think people think that just means you go out and meet people. You go out and create relationships. Real relationships.
People can tell when it's not authentic. You really have to be authentic, and you just I think the relationship is the key of the intention, and then if something comes of it, that's beautiful. But the relationship should be the primary focus. And so where can people find? I mean, what's next for Wing Lam and Wahoo's Fish Talk? Tell us what's going on.
So while we were back in Erie, I got to spend a lot of time with Ashley and just going over what we were doing, and she kept going, "This is never going to work here." What? And I'm like, and because I get that from all my friends, they're like, "Oh no, I don't have the network like you do." I goes, "Do you think the network just came?"
You have to cultivate it.
You got to create it.
Cultivate your network.
You didn't get married overnight. You have to date somebody, right? You got to propose. You got to show that it's a win-win for both of you, right? So
did you say wing-win?
So when we started this whole thing, I kind of explained to her what we were doing, and Ashley kept shaking her head. So then sometime in the fall, I think it was around Thanksgiving, she called me, sent me a couple of pictures, and I says, I took your idea and I thought it was crazy, but we did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did you do? So she goes, well, we went to this hospital, the whole thing. And she showed me the pictures, and I says, and what did you think? He goes, again, the gratitude. The smiles on the nurses. So then we started talking about, what if we did this thing together, right? And she goes, well, let me get back to you. So that's kind of why I brought my right-hand
Wendy,
person.
your right-hand gal from KOS here.
Your wingman.
I'm going to stand behind her.
Your wing woman.
All right.
Wing woman, come on in. I mean, you can catch the vidcast on Facebook. You can watch what's going on, of course.
What's
Download
happening?
at glennstearns.com.
This is
a nice little presentation for you.
really a surprise.
Oh my gosh, I love this. This is very exciting.
Ready?
Put it.
Love drop.
Erie, Pennsylvania
Yes.
love drop.
This
That's
is
so
exciting.
fun. Oh
Look at that.
God.
Love it.
And then
Is
some
this-
other things for them?
Oh no.
So we'll get some
Ooh,
masks.
there we go.
We go. We can get those
They're
made at
gonna be
Iron
so
Empire.
excited.
Iron Empire can make the masks
That's right.
and all that. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that is awesome.
I
These are
love
my
it.
Dana White skills.
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh, they're really good.
Back to the logo.
Is this
That
the
is so
second?
great.
Is there? Have we only gone? Is this the second? Like the flagship is California Love Drop, and now we have Erie, Pennsylvania Love Drop.
There we go. They are so excited. And again, I didn't want to give away too much about the show, but I will anyway. You guys have come in and been such great mentors to Ashley and to everybody over at Underdog Barbecue. and there's been so much. Again, and if we give away some, we give it away. It's okay. Tune out if you don't want to hear about the show, but. They were struggling, and you came in and helped them so much. And again, it wasn't just about cooking their food better, which there was a little of that going on.
You gave so much
but
good.
there was also about
you have
the
to tune
mentality.
in to see Undercover Billionaire
You got
Comeback City and watch all 6 episodes. It's streaming on
And
Discovery
watch the one
Plus.
with Underdog,
You have
especially.
to watch. That's episode number 6 is the one, and it's so powerful. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on here. Tell us.
So, yes, because of Theater of the Mind as well. So, a California Love Drop logo, which, by the way, Blue Sea really cultivated and did for us, which it's a beautiful logo. The logo itself just says so much. We've been so happy about it. So, to be able to turn around and translate it to Erie, Pennsylvania, it's, it says it for itself, but it's, it's something we're really proud of.
So special.
That's going to be so great. And
are you
I've
working
heard
with
so
Ashley?
much from Ashley about everything that they've learned from you guys, and to be able to take it to a city that I love very much and fell in love with is amazing, because they deserve it. And again, it's from you guys and the team to be able to help them understand how to pivot, how to think differently, how to get outside of your comfort zone, and to make a difference and have people really care. That's what you've done. That's why you guys have been so successful. That's why I think we are really pleased to kind of have other people hear the inner workings, of how to get stuff done.
Yeah, at the end of the day, when you talk about community, everybody said the same thing. But what does that really mean? That means that if there's a need in your community, figure out what you can do to help. So many people say, well, yes, I'll do the little league thing. I'm like, yes, that's because you want to put your name on the back of the kid's jersey. There's a big difference between that
Getting in
and what, you know what I'm
Getting
saying?
gritty and getting in the trenches.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Anybody can put the name on the back of somebody's jersey, but go figure out what those kids really need. And that's what our team does. I mean, when Ashley called me, I go, dude, this is what you guys need to do. And she goes, no. And then they did it, and they're like, And they had that moment.
Where can we find out about Erie? Is there a website? Is there a link?
This will be shortly up, because we're going to send all the stuff we're going to share. This is, again, spreading the
awesome.
love.
I love
and
that.
show them how to do it. But it wasn't rocket science.
Yeah.
Right? And so they got it. Luckily, Ashley's brother is a big,
thinker.
art guy. So they get it. So now the ball is moving. So pretty soon, it's funny that we would be at 2 opposite ends of the country.
Yeah.
Really.
And we're going to come back in.
I think
that's
that's
awesome.
beautiful. That's bridging the gap that is very deep right now. So I'm so excited to hear. So we can go to California Love Drop, find out more about that. Be looking for Erie, Pennsylvania Love Drop. That'll be in there. And always you
And
can
if you're
help.
hungry,
and hungry,
go to
Wahoo's Fish
Wahoo's
Tacos.
and go to Underdog Barbecue.
Yes, we'll get. Are we going to get a barbecue fish taco?
Yes, we are.
We got to
We're
get
gonna
our
do a little
sauces
PR here.
in there.
Yes.
We get some. We got the Huckleberry habanero
Yes,
sauce. That's
we
some
do.
good spicy stuff. So, and then we can follow you on your Instagram and
Wahoo's Wing. Yes.
Wahoo's Wing.
Yes.
There you go. Follow Wing Lamb. This has been so nice having you in here. Thank you
guys.
so much for joining
Thanks,
us and being in
Wing.
studio.
Thank you,
And
guys.
Kelly, Eric, thank you. Our studio audience tonight. It's great to have someone else. And you can catch more episodes of Grit Happens on Apple, Stitcher, wherever you find your podcast. And also you can watch us 2 p.m. on Facebook. We go live every Thursday. So, you'll catch our episodes. You have been listening to another installment of, say it with me, Grit Happens. Thank you, everybody.
Hey,
Thank you, Wing.
thanks, Wing. Thank you, guys.